In this session, we are going to discuss about XML and JSON. So these two are prerequisites in order to understand advanced Java like servlets and JSP. So JSON is required for frameworks, mainly to transport the data from application to application. To send the data, we make use of JSON. Now, let us initially go with XML. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. What is this XML? XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. And the main use of going with XML is XML is used to transport the data from one application to another application. So when you want to transport the data from one application to another application, we make use of XML. Let us suppose we are having some data present in database table. Now we want to take the data present in database table and we want to send it to another application. So sending databases over network takes huge cost. The time what it takes to transport the data takes more time for us. That's the reason what we do is we take the data from database table and we convert into XML format and we send the data over network to another application. Because XML files are very less size and it takes less cost to transport the data. This is one use. And in Java, where we are going to use XML. In Java, XML is used for creating configuration files. For creating configuration files required for the application. So where we use XML, it is mainly used for what? Creating configuration files required for the application. Right? Now, so once we enter into this servlets in JSP, there we are going to create one configuration file called as web.xml file. When we go with Hibernate, we create Hibernate XML file. When we go with Spring again, we create some XML file. When we are learning Maven tool, we make use of pom.xml file. So it depends on the concept we have to learn the respect to XML files. So it's very easy to understand when we are writing XML files. So when I'm writing the XML files in the next topics, you should not feel confused about what is this XML. That's the reason we are discussing about XML over here. Now, what is the difference between HTML wise XML? HTML is used to present the data, or you can say in HTML, all tags are predefined tags. So what are the tags we take in HTML? All tags are what? Predefined tags. Whereas in XML, all tags are user-defined tags. So what are the tags we are using in XML? Everything is user-defined tags. Okay. HTML is used to present the data. What is the main use of going with HTML? It is used to present the data. Whereas XML is for data about data, which even we call metadata. Data about data we can even call metadata. Like example, when you go with HTML, I'm using this b tag and we are writing 5000/b. So when we write this code in HTML, what indicates 5000 is presented as bold. Are you seeing the meaning of this 5000? No. I'm worried about how to present it. How you are going to display it. That is the main need of going with HTML. It's mainly for what? It's mainly to present the data. How you want to display the data on browser screen. When we come to XML, we'll write like this: salary 5000/salary. When you write this code in XML, what it means? By seeing the tag name, we can say 5000 is a salary. 5000 is a salary. So we are giving the meaning of the data. That is the point called as data about data, which we say metadata. Next one, HTML is not case sensitive, whereas XML is case sensitive. One more, HTML is not standard, whereas XML is standard. So why we are saying not standard is, when you go with HTML, what is the root tag? HTML is a root tag. So using root tag is optional. In HTML, when we open a tag, closing of tag is optional. When we go with attributes, so enclosing attribute value in double quotes or single quotes are also optional. So it won't follow any standard syntax rules. Whereas in XML, it follows the standard syntax rules. Now let us understand what are the rules here when you are writing XML document. When can we say a XML file is valid? Valid XML. So the rules for XML file is, these are important to understand. A XML file should contain only one root tag. XML file should contain what? Only one root tag. What is root tag? The first tag in XML file is the root tag. The first tag, whatever we use, that is called as root tag. The next one. For every tag, there should be a closing tag or self-enclosing tag. For every tag, there should be what? A closing tag or self-enclosing tag. Like example, if you take a tag like my tag, we have to compulsory close it like this, slash my tag. Or we can even say my tag slash. When you end with slash, this is called as self-enclosing tag. Next, attribute values should be in either double quotes or single quotes. When you go with attribute values, should be in either double quotes or single quotes. Like example, if you take a property name equal to salary, value equal to 5,000. So this attribute value should be either in double quotes or single quotes. Then one more point, no overlapping of tags. No overlapping of tags. Like example, if you take a tag here employee, then salary, then we will say something like 80,000 slash employee, then we say slash salary. This goes with error because overlapping tags. This goes with what? Error, overlapping tags here. Now, because first we have opened employee, then salary. So first we should close salary, then only employee. But when I close employee first, after that salary, this only we call overlapping tags. So this, when you are using overlapping tags, it goes with error because no overlapping of tags here. Now let us understand all this with an example code. Let me create one file. I'm using Visual Studio Code. So in this, create a new text file. Let me save it. In C drive. Let me create one folder, XML and JSON. In this folder, let us save the file. So I'm saving it as library.xml. I'm giving the name library.xml, means I want to maintain some library of books here. Save it. Now, let us go with the root tag library. So this we call it as root tag. The first tag what we use in XML is called as root tag. Now, so when you go with library, it's a collection of books. So we'll say here book. When you take book, we go with book ID, book name, price. Like this. So this is one set of book. Like that, we can go with one more book. And you can say BID, name, price. This is one more book. You can take one more book. So you can take, like, if you compare with correlate with the database tables. So everything is like one record. This is one record. This is one record. So these are our column headings. So you can just compare with your database table instead of taking the data in the form of rows and columns. So we use that column names as tags over here, mainly to hold the data. In that way, you can compare here. Then, here BID 333, BID, rename, then JSON, price, something like 650. Okay, so we are just holding the data in the form of tags here. Now, open this file in browser. So go to the folder where you have created this file. So I've created this file in C drive, XML and JSON, and this is our file. Run this. Double click on this. Here, it's going to show our XML file in the form of tree format. Here, when you click here, it's going to collapse and expand. Right? It's going to show the data in tree fashion. So if our XML file is getting loaded, that is, our XML file is valid. Now, for example, here I've used small library. When you are closing the tag, if I use capital L library, I'm using here capital L. Now see, when you reload the page, here, it's going with what? This page contains error. Opening and ending tag mismatch. So here small l and I'm ending with capital L here. That's a problem. Okay. Now, if I forget to close the tag, I open the tag, but I miss it to close the tag. That also goes with what? Error. When we reload, so it says, see, this page contains errors. Opening and ending tag mismatch. Okay. So when you open the tag, we have to close the tag, and XML is what? It is case sensitive. Right? So just understanding this rules is important for us when you are writing XML files. So however we use Eclipse or any other IDE to write XML files, that will take care of all the rules for us when we go with creating XML configuration files in Java programming. Right? Now, moving to the next one, JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. JSON stands for what? JavaScript Object Notation. And what is this JSON is? JSON is lightweight data interchange data interchange format. It's mainly to exchange the data from one application to another application. JSON is easy to read and write than XML. In JSON, whatever the data we are writing, it is very easy to write and write, easy to read and write than XML. JSON is language independent. Of course, even XML is also language independent. JSON is open standard for exchanging data on the web. So whenever you want to exchange data on the web, like I want to send the data from one application to another application, we are going to send the data in the form of JSON format. So where we use more of JSON in reality is like, so in reality what we do is, we'll be having a database table. Let us assume we are having employee table. Let us consider we are having employee table with employee ID, name and salary. Name and salary. Here we go with the data employee ID 123, some name XYZ and some salary. We are having some salary. Now, in reality, where we use this JSON is like, so here we are having data in database table. So what we do is we create one Spring Boot application or any Spring application. We go with what? A Spring Boot application. Then what this Spring Boot application is going to do is, it's going to connect to your database table and it's going to get the data into your Spring Boot application. It connects to the table, gets the data into Spring Boot application. Whatever the data present in this Spring Boot, what we want to do is, I want to present this employee data present in table in tabular format. In tabular format, we want to display this table on our browser window. So nowadays we are going to use the presentation part. We are going to do by using Angular or React. We can use any one of the front-end technology, Angular or React. So let us suppose we are having one Angular application. So we are having one Angular application. And what it is going to do is, it's going to connect to our Spring Boot data. Sorry, it's going to connect to our Spring Boot application. And whatever the data present in this table, that what Spring Boot is going to do, it's going to send the data in the form of JSON format. In the form of JSON format. That's the meaning called as. JSON is open standard for exchanging data on the web. So this is running in one server. This is running in another server. Both are running in different servers. They want to communicate now. So this communication only we call distributed applications. Application to application communication we call what? Distributed applications. So how they are exchanging data from one application to other application over network in JSON format. So once we get this JSON format into your Angular, Angular will take care of displaying the data onto the browser in tabular format. So Angular will take care of this. So these are all applications we are going to see, right? So that is the main meaning of this JSON. So it's mainly to exchange data. Then XML where we use in Java technology for creating configuration files. XML is for creating configuration files and JSON is mainly to share the data over the network, like the employee details or book details or customer details, order details, department details, like this. So mainly to take care of the data what you are using in your application. Okay. Now, in JSON, data is represented in key value pair. Data is represented in which format? In key value pair. And curly braces hold object. Curly braces hold object. Okay. There. comma, the comma is used to separate key value pairs. Comma is used for what? To separate key value pairs. Then square brackets. Square brackets are used to hold arrays, collection of data, then, where each value is separated, is comma separated. Let me take an example how it looks when you go with JSON. So for example, if you take here, I want to maintain a book of data. So we'll go with the data like this. So we go with what? Curly braces. I want to store book details, means it will be in the form of key value pair. In the JSON, the data is represented in the form of key value pair. So we'll say BID. Then we take the value of BID. We take BID and the value of BID. Then, comma. You can say bname, the value of bname. You can say comma price, the value of price, like this. So we'll enclose the data in between curly braces, and the data will be in the form of what? Key value pair. So it's very easy to read here. JSON is easy to read and write the XML. No need to think of tags here. So in JSON, we represent data in the form of this curly braces, and we go with the key and the value, key and value. So here we are having only one book. So when you want to go with multiple books, books will do like this. So here, square brackets are used to hold arrays, means multiple data. So here we go with square brackets, curly braces initially. Then we go with the name, like library of books, a set of books, then colon, square brackets. When you want to hold multiple objects, multiple data, we make use of what is square brackets here. Then here we go with the data, like example, curly braces. In between curly braces, here we will say BID and the value of BID, comma, bname and the value of bname. Comma, price, the value of price. So this is one data, like reading one record from your table. So once you read a record from the table, it will be in this format. Similar way, you can add multiple data. Just copy this. Here, change the values, BID 222, bname, XML, price, sum 850. Comma, again paste here, we'll say BID sum 333, then bname, learn JSON, price, sum 650, like this. So when you are having multiple data, multiple records you can assume, then we have to close it way, and we have to enclose in between square brackets. Okay, so you can go with the program, like let me just copy this, go to Visual Studio Code, create a new text file. Let me go with the name library.json. The extension what we give for JSON file is .json. So this is our code. So we are just holding data, multiple objects here. Right? So when you are having multiple objects like this, then we have to enclose way in between square brackets. Now just we have to open in browser, double click on this file. It's going to show the data in browser. So here, library.json. So just go to the folder and just copy the path and open library.json. Let me copy this address library.json. So just going to show our data onto the browser. Okay. Right. So please practice this. Very, very important. We are going to use this prerequisites. So JSON is the prerequisite to understand MongoDB. To understand MongoDB, we make use of JSON. And when we go with the Spring Boot applications also, I've explained, like we connect to the table, we take the data from the table and we convert into JSON format, and we'll share that JSON file over network to another applications. So JSON is very important to mainly to hold the database data, and XML for creating configuration files. Right? So please practice this.